The text message illuminated the darkness of my car, its words sharp against the night. St. Mary's Church, 2 p.m. You need to see this. The sender? An unknown number. My hands shook as I gripped the steering wheel, my eyes glued to the scene unfolding before me. Guests were trickling into the old stone church, their silhouettes faint through the rain-splattered windshield. I'm Eleanor, and right now I'm parked outside a church, wondering if I've finally crossed a line into madness. Ryan, my husband, had told me he was at a business conference in Chicago. That's what the calendar said. That's what his secretary had confirmed. That's what the hotel reservation had shown. But now, here I am, parked across from a church in Boston as the rain falls harder and the world feels a little too quiet. Why? Because some stranger, some anonymous figure, decided I needed to see something. To what end, I'm still not sure. Guardian angel, devil in disguise, I haven't figured that out yet. This is insane. I mutter to myself, yet I find my hand reaching for my sunglasses, as though hiding from what I already know is coming. The church bells begin their slow, mournful toll as I step out of the car, the sound echoing like a warning. My heels click sharply on the wet pavement, each step heavier than the last. I feel like I'm walking toward my own execution. I slip through the side door, my heart racing, and find a spot behind a marble pillar, hoping to remain unseen. The scent of lilies and incense drifts to me, and for a fleeting second, I'm taken back to my own wedding day, 7 years ago. Same church, different dreams. The organ begins to play, its deep, haunting notes filling the air, and my heart halts in my chest. What am I about to witness? Because there he is, Ryan. My Ryan, standing at the altar in a tuxedo I've never seen before, hands clasped in front of him, that familiar nervous tick in his jaw. He's not in Chicago. He's here, waiting for... The bride appears at the entrance, and the ground shifts beneath my feet. Long, dark hair, olive skin, that graceful walk I'd know anywhere. Megan, my best friend since 3rd grade. The woman who helped me pick out my own wedding dress. Dearly beloved. The priest's words fade into white noise as I watch them exchange vows. My husband and my best friend, promising to love each other until death do them part, just like he promised me. Just like we all promised each other when we were kids. No secrets, no lies, friends forever. I don't remember leaving the church. Don't remember the drive home. But I remember the moment I decided. Sitting in our kitchen, our perfect magazine-weathy kitchen that Ryan insisted on remodeling last year, watching the sun set through windows that suddenly felt like prison bars. My phone buzzes. Ryan. Conference running late. Don't wait up. I pour myself a glass of his favorite scotch, the one he saves for special occasions. The liquid burns my throat as I swallow, and I welcome the pain. It's real, unlike everything else in my life. Another text from the unknown number. Now you know. What will you do about it? What will I do? I laugh, and it sounds foreign to my ears, sharp, dangerous, like breaking glass. I open my laptop and start typing. Dear Laura, I hope this email finds you well. I've been thinking about hosting that family reunion you've always wanted, because that's the thing about betrayal. It's not just about the act itself. It's about the elaborate dance of lies that came before it, the carefully constructed alibis, the practiced smiles, the casual touches that meant nothing. And Ryan, my charming, perfect Ryan, has always been an excellent dancer, but so have I. I take another sip of scotch and smile. Let them have their honeymoon. Let them think they've won. I've got time, and I've got something better than their love. I've got their trust. The sun sets completely, leaving me in darkness, but for the first time today I can see everything clearly. The old photo album feels heavy in my lap, each page weighted with memories I can't trust anymore. There we are, Ryan, Megan, and me at 16, sprawled on my parents' lawn. Ryan's arm is around both of us, and we're laughing at some forgotten joke. The edges of the photograph are worn, like everything else about that summer. I ordered Chinese, Ryan calls from downstairs. His footsteps echo through our house, each one making my skin crawl. He's been home 3 days since the wedding, his second wedding. acting like nothing's changed, like he didn't just shatter everything we built. I close the album as he enters our bedroom, carrying 2 plates of food I won't touch. Remember when we used to get takeout with Megan every Friday? The words leave my mouth before I can stop them, sharp as broken glass. Ryan's smile doesn't quite reach his eyes. That was a lifetime ago. Was it? I stand up, letting the album fall to the floor with a satisfying thud. Because I saw her 3 days ago, she looked exactly the same. His chopsticks freeze halfway to his mouth. Just for a second, blink, and you'd miss it. But I catch it. I catch everything now. Eleanor, he sets his plate down, approaching me with that concerned expression he uses on difficult clients. Have you been drinking? I laugh, and it sounds like my mother's laugh after Dad left. That's your move? Gaslight the wife into thinking she's crazy? I'm worried about you. His hand reaches for mine. I step back. When did it start? The question burns my throat. Was it before our wedding? During? Tell me, Ryan. Was I the backup plan or the cover story? You're not making any sense. But his left hand twitches, his tell when he's lying. I've spent 7 years cataloging his habits, learning his rhythms. Funny how clearly you see things when you're looking for the cracks. I was at St. Mary's on Tuesday. The words hang between us like smoke. Nice tux, by the way. Better than the one you wore at our wedding. The mask slips. Just for a moment. But it's enough. His eyes go cold, calculating. This is the real Ryan, the one I never let myself see. It's not what you think. Don't. My voice doesn't shake. I'm proud of that. Don't insult me with excuses. I watched you marry my best friend while I was supposedly your loving wife at home. What exactly should I think? He runs his hands through his hair. Another tell. It's complicated. There are things you don't understand. Like what? The joint bank accounts you opened? The property you bought together? Or maybe the fact that your mother knew the whole time that stops him. How did you? I'm not the idiot you think I am. I move to the dresser, pull out the stack of documents I've collected over the past 3 days. You should really use better passwords than our anniversary date, though I guess that's meaningless now. Eleanor, please. He reaches for the papers. I hold them back. We can work this out. I'll explain everything. Like you explained your business trip to Chicago? I spread the documents on the bed. Bank statements, property deeds, emails. Or should we discuss the trust fund Laura set up for your children with Megan? His face goes white. You had no right. I had every right. The scream tears from my throat, raw and primal. I'm your wife. I was your friend. We grew up together. All 3 of us. And you? I stop, breathing hard. He's staring at me like he's never seen me before. Maybe he hasn't. Maybe I've never seen myself either. Get out. My voice is steady now, certain. This is my house too. Not anymore. I hold up one final document, power of attorney. Signed last year when he was too busy to handle our estate planning. You should really read what you sign, Ryan. Now get out before I call Michael and have him escort you out. He leaves. Not because he's afraid, but because he knows this is just the beginning. He knows me well enough for that. I pick up the photo album from the floor, trace our younger faces with my finger. We look so happy, so innocent, such perfect liars, all of us. The cafe where Megan and I used to share secrets feels smaller now. Maybe it's the weight of what I'm about to do. Or maybe everything from my past is shrinking, becoming less significant with each new betrayal I uncover. Megan slides into the seat across from me, still wearing her wedding ring, my wedding ring's twin. The sight of it makes my coffee taste like acid. I didn't think you'd come, she says, fingers nervously tracing the rim of her untouched latte. Funny, I didn't think you'd marry my husband. The words come out softer than intended, which somehow makes them cut deeper. She flinches. Eleanor, did you know about the trust fund? I pull out the bank statements, sliding them across the table like playing cards in a rigged game. The one Laura set up for your future children? Her face drains of color, not from guilt, from anger. Interesting. What trust fund? Now that's genuine surprise. I watch her scan the documents, her hands shaking slightly. $3 million, I continue, Set aside for the grandchildren Laura always wanted. Guess I wasn't producing them fast enough. This can't be right. Megan pushes the papers away like they're contaminated. Ryan said the marriage was just a formality for his inheritance. He said, I laugh and it sounds like breaking glass. My wedding ring's twin. The sight of it makes my coffee taste like acid. I didn't think you'd come, she says, fingers nervously tracing the rim of her untouched latte. Funny, I didn't think you'd marry my husband. The words come out softer than intended, which somehow makes them cut deeper. She flinches. Eleanor, did you know about the trust fund? I pull out the bank statements, sliding them across the table like playing cards in a rigged game. The one Laura set up for your future children? Her face drains of color. Not from guilt, from anger. Interesting. What trust fund? Now that's genuine surprise. I watch her scan the documents, her hand shaking slightly. $3 million, I continue. Set aside for the grandchildren Laura always wanted. Guess I wasn't producing them fast enough. This can't be right. Megan pushes the papers away like they're contaminated. Ryan said the marriage was just a formality for his inheritance. He said, I laugh, and it sounds like breaking glass. You're trying to hurt me because I hurt you. I get it. I deserve it, but... Sit down. My voice doesn't waver. You haven't heard the best part yet. She sits, more from shock at my tone than obedience. Remember that summer internship Ryan helped you get at Grace's firm? The one that convinced your mother he was such a wonderful guy? I slide one more document across the table. Look at the date on that property transfer. Her hands shake as she reads, This is my mother's signature. But she would never sell her prime development property for half its value? She didn't know she did. Check the witness signatures. Megan's face crumples as she recognizes her own handwriting. I was just notarizing documents. Ryan said it was practice for my license. Wrong question. The real question is, what are we going to do? We. You have two choices. Keep playing his game and lose everything, or help me take him down. I pull out one final document, a USB drive containing everything I've discovered. Your mother's company, my savings, Laura's reputation. He's built his entire plan on the assumption that we'd never compare notes. Megan stares at the drive like it might bite her. If this gets out, everything burns. I place my hand over hers, feeling the wedding ring that matches mine. But this time we'll be the ones holding the matches. She closes her fingers around the drive and I see a glimpse of the friend I used to know. Fierce, loyal, unstoppable when crossed. When do we start? I smile, and for the first time in weeks it feels real. We already have. 3 empty wine bottles mock me from the kitchen counter. Not my usual poison, but tonight isn't usual. The documents from Ryan's office are spread across our dining room table, our wedding gift from Laura like pieces of a puzzle I never wanted to solve. My phone lights up, another message from Ryan. Please, let's talk about this rationally. Rational, like the systematic way he built this house of lies, like the calculated precision with which he chose his marks. The phone buzzes again. Megan this time. Grace is asking questions. We need to move faster. I switch it off, but my hands won't stop shaking. The magnitude of what we're planning finally hits me. This isn't just about exposing Ryan anymore. We're talking about destroying families, reputations, lives. The doorbell rings. For a moment, I consider ignoring it, but then I hear the key in the lock. Only one person besides Ryan has that key. Jesus, Eli. Michael steps into the dining room, taking in the chaos. When's the last time you slept? I wave vaguely at the papers. Did you know Ryan's father killed himself? Michael freezes. What? 10 years ago, right after Ryan graduated law school. I hold up the newspaper clipping I found buried in Laura's financial records. Officially, it was a hunting accident. Unofficially, I push forward a stack of bank statements. He discovered Laura and Ryan had been embezzling from his company for years. Christ. Michael sinks into a chair. Does anyone else know? Just the person who's been sending me anonymous tips. I tap the burner phone on the table. They sent me this today. Copies of William Mitchell's suicide note. He tried to stop them, Michael. He tried to expose them, and they... My voice cracks. Eli, Michael reaches for my hand, but I pull away. I'm becoming them. The words taste like ash. All these plans for revenge, for justice. I'm turning into exactly what I hate. No, you're not. Michael's voice is firm. You're protecting people. Grace's company. Your future. Megan's. Am I? I stand up, pacing. Or am I just so focused on destroying Ryan that I don't care who gets caught in the crossfire? Because right now I'm sitting here planning to expose everything at the family reunion, knowing it will devastate people who had nothing to do with this. Like who? Like Ryan's sister's kids, who'll lose their college fund when I expose Laura's financial schemes. Like Grace's employees, who might lose their jobs if the company's reputation tanks. I grab one of the wine bottles, not caring that it's empty. Like William Mitchell, who died trying to do the right thing while I'm plotting elaborate revenge scenarios like some comic book villain. Michael is quiet for a long moment. Then he stands up and takes the bottle from my hand. You want to know the difference between you and them? I look away, but he continues. You're standing here at 3 a.m, torturing yourself about the morning. Your actions, they're sleeping peacefully, counting their money and planning their next con. That doesn't make it right. No, it doesn't. He starts gathering the papers, organizing them methodically. But it means you have a choice. You can expose everything dramatically at the reunion like you planned, or what? Or we do this the right way, legally, carefully. He holds up William Mitchell's suicide note. We finish what Ryan's father started, but we do it smart. We protect the innocent parties first. The burner phone buzzes. Another message from the anonymous source. Ask Laura about the offshore accounts. I stare at the message, then at the chaos spread across my dining room table. 7 years of marriage, a lifetime of friendship, generations of lies, all leading to this moment. Okay, I say finally. Show me how to do this right. Michael nods, pulling out his phone. First, we need to talk to someone who specializes in financial fraud. I know a guy. Wait! I grab his arm. Before we do this, I need to know something. Are you helping me because I'm right, or just because I'm your sister? He meets my eyes steadily. Both, and neither. I'm helping you because someone needs to stop them, and you're strong enough to do it without becoming them. I look at the empty wine bottles, the scattered papers, the evidence of my near descent into their world of manipulation and revenge. Maybe he's right. Maybe there's a better way to burn it all down. Michael's lawyer friend keeps talking, but I'm fixated on this single sheet of paper in front of me, a list of names. Children, mostly. Beneficiaries of trusts that would collapse if we moved forward with our plan. The offshore accounts are just the beginning, James Harrison says, spreading more documents across his mahogany desk. Laura Mitchell's financial web extends through at least 3 generations of both families. How many people would be affected? My voice sounds distant, even to myself. Directly? Around 30? Indirectly? He shrugs. We're talking about dismantling a decades-long scheme. The ripple effects could impact hundreds. Michael leans forward. But we can prove the fraud. Easily. The question is whether we should. James taps the list of names. Some of these trust funds are supporting medical care, education. Stop. I stand up abruptly, moving to the window. Boston spreads out below, oblivious to the bomb we're about to detonate. There has to be another way. My phone buzzes. Megan. Grace found the missing property documents. She's calling Laura today. We're running out of time, Michael says, reading over my shoulder. If Grace confronts Laura directly, everything falls apart anyway. I turn back to James. How long would it take to secure protection for the innocent parties? Weeks? Maybe months? We'd need to... The office door bursts open. Laura Mitchell stands there, immaculate as always. But her eyes are wild. I should have known you'd run to Michael. How did you... James starts. My daughter works in your building, James. Did Eleanor tell you that part? How many families she's willing to destroy for her revenge? That's rich, coming from you. Michael stands, moving between us. Laura ignores him, focusing on me. You think you're protecting people? William thought the same thing. Look where that got him. The room goes silent. Even the city noise seems to fade. What did you just say? My hands grip the back of the chair, knuckles white. Oh, didn't your anonymous friend tell you everything? Laura's smile is razor sharp. William didn't just discover our schemes. He tried to fix them, reroute funds to protect the beneficiaries, just like you're planning, and you stopped him. The pieces click into place. The hunting accident was exactly that, an accident. But her eyes shift away. The point is, Eleanor, some structures can't be dismantled without destroying everything they support. You're not just fighting Ryan or me, you're fighting generations of carefully balanced arrangements. Arrangements built on lies and theft, built on necessity. Laura moves closer. Did Ryan tell you why he married you? Your family's political connections, 3 generations of judges and prosecutors, the perfect shield. My phone buzzes again. Grace's name appears on the screen. Take the call, Laura says softly. Listen to Grace discover what her daughter's been hiding. Watch another family shatter, or she pulls out an envelope. We can discuss alternatives. Eli, don't! Michael starts. What alternatives? My voice is steady, but my heart hammers against my ribs. A clean break, generous settlement, the innocent parties stay protected. Laura sets the envelope on James's desk. Everyone wins, everyone except justice. Michael snaps. Justice? Laura laughs. Ask Eleanor what she really wants. Justice or peace? My phone keeps buzzing. Megan's messages join Grace's calls. The list of names stares up at me from the desk. Children, families, futures. How long do I have to decide? The words taste like surrender until Grace finishes reading those documents. Laura moves to the door. Choose wisely, Eleanor. Unlike William, you still have a choice. She leaves, and the office feels both larger and more suffocating. You can't seriously be considering this, Michael says. I pick up the list of names, then my still buzzing phone. What if she's right? What if trying to fix this just makes everything worse? That's fear talking, not justice. Maybe. I look at James. But what if fear is trying to tell us something important? The phone buzzes one final time, then falls silent. Whatever Grace discovered, it's too late to stop it now. I pick up Laura's envelope, feeling the weight of decisions not yet made. I need to talk to Megan, I say finally, before we decide anything else. Because sometimes I'm learning revenge isn't about who you're willing to hurt, but who you're willing to save. The Mitchell family estate looms before me, its windows glowing like warning beacons in the dusk. Cars line the circular driveway, all the players assembled for what they think is a surprise anniversary party for Laura and her second husband. Last chance to back out. Michael stands beside me, holding the briefcase containing everything. Every document, every recording, every piece of evidence we've gathered. They're already inside. Megan appears at my other shoulder, her voice tight. Grace is with them. Ryan's watching the door like a hawk. I adjust my black dress. Funeral appropriate, though they don't know that yet. Did you secure the exits? James has people stationed at every door. Michael checks his watch. Once you start, no one leaves until everything's exposed. The weight of Laura's envelope presses against my ribs, tucked into my dress. Her offer of silence, of protection for the innocent, still unopened. Still a possibility. We enter through the kitchen, where caterers bustle around, unaware they're serving the last supper of the Mitchell dynasty. Ryan spots me immediately, his face flickering between relief and suspicion. Eleanor? He moves toward me, champagne glass in hand. I didn't think you'd come. And Miss Laura's party? My smile feels like broken glass. Wouldn't dream of it. His eyes dart to the briefcase, to Megan, to Michael. I see the moment he realizes something's wrong, but Laura's voice cuts through the murmur of conversation. Everyone, please, gather in the main hall. The crowd shifts, carrying us with it. I catch glimpses of familiar faces. Grace, pale but composed. Laura's second husband, oblivious and beaming. Ryan's sister, clutching her children's hands. The children. God, the children. Laura raises her glass. Thank you all for coming to... Actually, I step forward, my voice carrying across the sudden quiet. I'd like to say something first. Ryan moves toward me, but Michael blocks his path. Megan positions herself near Grace. Eleanor, Laura warns, think carefully about what you're doing. I pull out the envelope she gave me, still sealed. I have thought about it. For weeks, I've thought about nothing else. I turn to address the room. About justice and protection, about who deserves the truth and who deserves mercy. Eli. Ryan's voice holds real fear now. Whatever you think you know, I know everything. I open the briefcase, but I don't remove the documents. Not yet. About William's death. About the trust funds. About your 2 marriages and Laura's schemes. And every lie you've told to keep this house of cards standing. The room erupts in whispers. Grace steps forward, her face ashen. Megan, I'm sorry, Mom. Megan's voice breaks. I didn't know. Not until Eleanor showed me. Showed you what? Ryan's sister demands. What's going on? I look at the children, their confused faces, their innocent futures hanging on my next words. Laura's envelope burns against my skin. The truth, I say softly, is that I came here tonight to destroy everything, to expose decades of fraud and manipulation, to get justice for everyone who's been hurt by the Mitchell family's lies. I pull out the first document, William's real suicide note. Laura goes very still, but standing here looking at all of you, I meet Ryan's eyes. I realize there's something worse than being deceived, something worse than being betrayed. Eleanor? Michael warns, but I continue. It's becoming the very thing you're fighting against. I strike a match. When did I take it from my purse and touch it to Laura's envelope? The paper catches quickly and I drop it into the briefcase. No! Michael lunges forward, but it's too late. The evidence burns. Years of careful investigation turning to ash. With it burns my chance at justice, at revenge, at everything I thought I wanted. The fire alarm shrieks, sprinklers activate. People rush for the exits, pushing past James's guards in the chaos. Through the smoke and spray, I meet Laura's eyes. She knows what I've done. Chosen mercy over justice. Chosen to protect the innocent over punishing the guilty. But her triumphant smile fades as I pull out my phone and press send. Because sometimes the greatest revenge isn't destruction, it's redemption. The police lights paint Laura's pristine kitchen in alternating red and blue. She sits across from me at the marble island, both of us dripping from the sprinklers, watching officers cart away boxes of evidence. The real evidence, not the decoy files I burned. Copies, I say quietly. Everything in that briefcase, just copies. The originals went to the FBI an hour ago. Her perfectly manicured nails drum against her coffee cup. You chose this moment deliberately. The party, the family gathering. Like father, like daughter-in-law. I slide William's actual suicide note across the counter. He planned to expose everything at your anniversary party too, didn't he? Before the hunting accident. The drumming stops. Through the window I see Ryan being led to a police car, Michael watching with grim satisfaction. You don't understand what you've done. Laura's voice trembles. Those trust funds are being protected. I pull out my phone, show her the court orders. Every innocent beneficiary has been legally separated from the fraudulent accounts. The children will keep their college funds. The medical care continues. For the first time, I see real fear in her eyes. How? I had 3 weeks after you offered me that envelope. 3 weeks where you thought you'd won. I lean forward. Did you really think I spent that time doing nothing? A commotion at the door draws our attention. Grace enters, flanked by federal agents. Her eyes lock with Laura's. You killed him, Grace says flatly. You killed William when he tried to protect my daughter from your schemes. Laura stands so quickly her chair topples. That's ridiculous. William was going to expose how you used Megan to access Grace's company records. I interrupt. How you manipulated Ryan into marrying us both to maintain your financial facade. Everything I did was for this family. No! Megan appears in the doorway, tear-stained but steady. Everything you did was for yourself. And now we all know why. I slide one final document across the counter. An old photograph. Laura goes very still. William wasn't just trying to expose the fraud, was he? I watch her face crumple. He discovered something else about Ryan's real father, about why you needed the Carter family's connections so desperately. Mom? Ryan calls from outside. Mom, what's happening? Laura lunges for the photograph, but Grace is faster. Her gasp echoes in the suddenly silent kitchen. That's my father. With Laura, 37 years ago, I confirm, 9 months before Ryan was born. The truth hangs between us like smoke. Decades of manipulation, all to hide one desperate affair, to maintain the Mitchell family's perfect image. You destroyed everything, Laura whispers, just like William tried to. No, I stand, gathering the remaining documents. You destroyed everything the moment you chose lies over love. William tried to save us, all of us, and now, finally, he has. What do you mean? I pull out my phone one last time, show her the message chain. From an unknown number from a dead man's scheduled emails set to deliver years after his death. William knew he might not survive trying to expose the truth, so he left breadcrumbs for whoever was brave enough to follow them. I meet her eyes. I wasn't your first victim, Laura, but I am your last. The officers approach to escort her out. Through the window, I see Ryan watching, understanding finally dawning on his face as Grace shows him the photograph. Was it worth it? Laura asks as they lead her away. Burning down everything to save a dead man's honor? I think of the children upstairs, their futures now secure. Of Megan and Grace, finally free from manipulation. Of William, who died trying to protect us all. Some things, I say quietly, are worth burning for. The sun rises over the Mitchell estate, painting everything in gold. In the distance, sirens fade. Beside me, Michael squeezes my shoulder. You okay? I watch Laura disappear into a police car, 30 years of secrets crumbling in her wake. No, I answer honestly, but I will be. Because sometimes the truth doesn't set you free. Sometimes it just shows you who you really are. The last box from Ryan's study sits unopened on my kitchen counter. Through the window, autumn leaves scatter across my backyard, where 3 kids once promised to be friends forever. My phone buzzes. Megan. Grace wants to meet. Both of us. The trial ended yesterday. Laura and Ryan, both guilty. The headlines called it justice. The society pages called it scandal. Neither quite captured the truth. I lift the lid from the box, expecting more evidence, more secrets. Instead, I find an old video camera, the kind we used that summer before college, when everything seemed possible. The doorbell rings. Megan stands there, looking smaller somehow, more like the girl I used to know than the woman who helped unravel everything. I found mine too, she says, holding up an identical camera in Mom's attic. We set them both on the counter, these relics of who we used to be. Neither of us reaches to turn them on. Did you read Ryan's statement? She asks. No. I pour us both coffee, a habit from before, when friendship was simple. Did you? He said he loved us both. Her laugh sounds brittle. Actually believed it, I think. That's Ryan. I slide her cup across the counter, living his own truth, even when it's a lie. The afternoon light catches the cameras, casting twin shadows. Megan touches one gently. We should watch them, she says, before Grace arrives. Before we decide what happens next. She nods. We both know Grace's meeting isn't just about reconciliation. It's about the future of her company, about trust and second chances, about whether some bridges can be rebuilt after they've burned. I connect the first camera to my laptop. The screen flickers to life. There we are, young, laughing, whole. Ryan behind the camera narrating our last summer together, before college, before choices, before we learned how love and lies could wear the same face. Stop, Megan says suddenly. Look at that moment. The frame freezes on our younger selves, sharing some forgotten joke. But it's Ryan's reflection in the window that catches my eye. The way he watches us both, planning even then. He didn't destroy us, I realize. He just showed us who we already were. What do you mean? You always wanted adventure. I always needed control. He just weaponized those truths. Megan's coffee goes cold, untouched. And now? The second camera sits dark, unwatched. Some truths, I'm learning, don't need to be seen to be understood. Now we choose, I say, not between right and wrong, between easy and true. The doorbell rings again. Grace, before Megan moves to answer, she grips my hand. "I'm sorry," she whispers. "Not for loving him, for forgetting how to love you first." I squeeze back, remembering Laura's final words at the trial. "Love makes liars of us all." "Maybe," I tell Megan. "We stop trying to fix the past. Maybe we just build something new." She nods, understanding exactly what I'm not saying. About Grace's company, about second chances, about how revenge isn't always about destroying what was. Sometimes it's about creating something better, something new, from the ashes of the past. I open the door to Grace and notice how different she is now. Standing taller, more confident. A woman free from the weight of decades of manipulation. The autumn wind sweeps through, scattering another handful of leaves across the yard, each one a symbol of change. Somewhere far away in a prison cell, Laura is plotting her next move, her mind forever focused on escape. In another part of the world, Ryan writes letters we will never read. Life doesn't pause, it moves forward, messy, imperfect, and unforgiving. I leave the cameras on the counter, untouched, letting them gather dust for now. Some memories, I realize, don't need to be revisited. Some truths are better lived than remembered. Grace spreads a series of papers across my kitchen table. Plans, hopes, blueprints for rebuilding, for moving forward. Megan and I exchange a glance, unspoken thoughts passing between us. We remember other papers, other plans, and all the choices we made to survive. "Ready?" Grace asks, her voice full of quiet determination. I think of William, setting truth bombs that will explode long after his death. Of Laura, building walls to keep secrets that were never worth protecting. Of Ryan, whose desperate love left him unable to love honestly. Yes, I say, and for the first time in a long while, I mean it. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about breaking free. If you crave more stories of resilience, revenge, and redemption, be sure to subscribe to SoraBook. The next video might just change everything you thought you knew about justice.